Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you. I feel really stirred by the invocation this morning, really grateful for it. Mr. President, my courtesy today is going to sound a bit repetitive. You're probably going to think, haven't I heard this before? And you have, not once but twice before, but there's some news out of Southern Oregon that really deserves another courtesy. And I'll try to be concise, but I have a lot of boasting to pack into just a couple of minutes. In 2019, my first session, I stood on this floor and sent courtesies to the Southern Oregon University Raiders women's softball team, announcing that in Springfield, Missouri, they had defeated Oklahoma City for the National Women's Softball Championship that year. The following year, let me get this straight, 2020 had no championship because of the pandemic. In 2021, I was obliged to rise again and announce it the day before in Columbus, Georgia. The Southern Oregon University won the national championship by defeating the OIT Owls 3-2. And I remember being struck that two schools 75 miles from one another had to travel to Georgia for that to happen, but it did. Mr. President, this week has been the NAIA World Series for softball. It's run for a week. Number one seed in that tournament was the OIT Owls, a remarkable team. I got to watch the game on Saturday, I think it was the quarterfinals, where Southern Oregon University defeated OIT by a score of 10-0. Yesterday afternoon, Mr. President, OIT then went to the losers bracket and went all the way through it for an opportunity to play in the championship game yesterday against SOU. And yesterday, and I so wish the senator from the home of Crater Lake was here so I could rub it in. Yesterday, Southern Oregon University defeated the OIT Owls, number one seeded Owls, 11-0 to win the 2023 NAIA National Championship. That game had 2 Grand Slam home runs. And just to finish the boasting, Mr. President, in the 5 games in the World Series that SOU played, the total scoring was SOU 46, opponents 2. And I bring that up because we're talking about hundreds of the country's best athletes in this tournament. There was not that much physical attribute difference, natural talent difference among these women, and yet that was the collective score. And I'm just struck, maybe for our own purposes, something's going on here, something about shared effort and shared mission and inspiration. And I haven't figured it quite out yet, but I'm going to try. And I just want to send courtesies today to the SOU National Women's Softball Team for the third time in 5 years, and their coach, Jessica Pistol, who is doing something that we could sure use here in Salem. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator.